On behalf of Phelps County Bank, I would like to introduce our next two speakers, two young men that I'm very, very, very proud to bring in via a Google Hangout, Nahush Katti and Vikram Arun, and they're going to tell their story about DoctorOn LLC. And if this doesn't inspire you, then I don't know what will. This is a brilliant concept that's going to revolutionize medicine in third world countries. So it's my pleasure to bring these two gentlemen in via the Hangout.
Hi Nahush, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Vikram, it's good to see you again. I've hung out with you guys before, and it's so fascinating to hear your story and for you guys to be able to share your amazing story with this group here with us today. So let's just start with you, Nahush. How did you guys get started?
We actually got started the summer between freshman and sophomore years of high school. I met with Keith Polite, a mentor of ours, who's still a mentor. And I met with him, and one of the questions that he asked me was, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was 15 at the time, so I really didn't know, but I knew I wanted to do something in the business realm, and I told him that. And a couple weeks later, they were hosting a Innovate 100 pitch competition, and he invited me to pitch there. And one of the things he told me that's still something that Vikram and I stick to is sometimes it just doesn't matter how you do, it's more about the experience. And especially in that situation, we went in not expecting to place or win or anything like that. We just wanted the experience of pitching and seeing what that felt like, how that experience is. And somehow we were able to get second place. So
phenomenal. Vikram, tell people what is DoctorOn LLC?
So DoctorOn, we've actually gone through a lot of different phases, but we classify ourselves as a healthcare company involved in telemedicine. And we're working on using new technologies to make healthcare in developing countries more accessible and cheaper.
Okay, Nahush, you want to say anything more about how it works?
So basically we're using smartphones to kind of get into the population that's unable to have access to healthcare. As Vikram said, we are currently targeting developing countries. However, this technology also has the ability to revolutionize healthcare in rural parts of developed countries, such as the United States. So that's basically what we're working on right now.
Yeah, pretty big concepts and important concepts as well. Nahush, if you would tell people here, how old are you?
I am 19.
And Vikram?
I'm 18.
Okay, so as younger entrepreneurs, what difficulties did you guys have when you were getting started? Nahush, you were in my office not too long ago talking about age and some of the difficulties that provided for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think if you really look into it or think about it, age is something that really helps rather than hurts, especially in entrepreneurship. Of course, the older entrepreneur may have more experience that can help them make decisions and whatnot, but at least in our experience, I think that we were helped a lot because of our age. So we were able to take risks that we may not have been able to take because we understood that this wasn't something that our livelihood depended on. This was something that we were working on, but if we made a mistake, we had the time to correct it. So I think the age actually is great help, and the younger you start out, the better.
Yeah. Vikram, you agree with that?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And to some extent, I feel like people are more willing to help you when you're a younger entrepreneur because they kind of view us as like the young minds of this generation. And they're really excited that people as young as us can do something like this and want to be involved in entrepreneurship in the first place. Or else it could be, like playing outside with our friends or doing whatever. So I think that we've received a lot of help. Ready, the Economic Development Center in Columbia, with Mike Brooks and Dr. Jim Gann. They've helped us immensely. And also Dr. Keith Polite. He was the one who got us started up with Innovate and everything. So thanks goes out to him as well.
Yeah. How did you manage your time between high school and college with DoctorOn?
It was definitely difficult. Like hard AP classes, getting ready for college. applying and everything. But I think what it taught us was something more important than all of those, and it was time management. It's amazing how many hours you can find in a day that you just waste, like whether it be on Facebook or just transitioning between activities or whatever else. And I think that DoctorOn forced us to really make sure we weren't wasting time. So to that extent, we were able to manage everything. I think that's the key, is really just time management.
So Nahush, here in Columbia, even speaking, or in mid-Missouri, what are some of the avenues that students can pursue their entrepreneurial interests? Where are some resources that they can go to in mid-Missouri, perhaps that you found benefit from?
So one thing that I definitely recommend is just look at pitch competitions. If you see a pitch competition or hear of anything in the mid-Missouri area, just try and get involved. I know Boom is having one in the very near future, so if you have even an inkling of an idea, you should definitely go ahead and pitch it, because maybe you aren't going to go with that idea, but at least next time you know what the format's like, you know what kind of questions you're going to be asked, and you're only going to do better. So definitely go to as many pitch competitions as possible, and then also get involved in the entrepreneurial society, because I mean, the networking that you get out of that is amazing. The kind of help that the people, especially in Columbia, will provide is great. And so you really want to tap into that as much as possible.
What are some of the things you wish that you would have known starting out, Vikram?
Definitely just keep your eyes open for all these opportunities. And if there is one, just jump on it. And never be afraid to talk to someone simply because they'll tell you no. That's the worst case scenario. And there's no other consequences of going out there and just pitching your idea. And I think that's one of the hardest steps, is really just going out there in the first place. Once you get the ball rolling, it gets much easier. But I guess something else that I wish I had known is that nothing comes easy. Absolutely nothing. It's been a hard road, and we're not even close to being finished. So yeah, that'd be it for me.
Nahush, what do you wish you would have known starting out?
Yeah, exactly like what Vikram said. It's at least for me, I definitely thought it would be easy. I don't know why I had that thought at all in the first place. It's not easy, but it's so gratifying to build something, watch it grow, watch it nurture, and knowing that it's your own idea, there's nothing really like it. And so it's just, you have to have tough skin, I guess, is just what it comes down to.
So if you were going to pick out one key trait that you think every entrepreneur should have, what would that one key trait be?
For me, at least, again, it'd be having the tough skin, being able to get back on the horse. Because especially when you're starting up, and this is something that may happen due to the age, is people may not believe what you're doing is actually what you're doing. They might just be like, oh, that's just an idea, and just brush it off. And you have to be able to look past that, and that for every person that may say that idea is not a viable concept, you need to be able to say, no, I'm pretty sure I can do something with this and move forward, because there's going to be so many people who are willing to help you if you just take the time, put in the hours, and give it all you got.
So Vikram, how about you? What one key trait do you think every entrepreneur should have?
I think the one key trait would be repose. There's one thing saying that you're going to do something. You have a great idea, but then actually putting it into effect and working on that is something completely different. So I think that determination plays into that as well. If you really believe in your idea, you should do whatever you can to make it happen. But that'd be it.
Great. Individuals in this room, if you have a question for any one of these entrepreneurs, raise your hand, come up to the microphone, and we'll bring the microphone to you right behind you, sir. There's a lady right here asking a question. Yes?
This is Alice Reese from 1 Million Cups. What I was wondering was, I didn't catch what the content was that you were giving to the rural medical folks in developing countries. I would be interested to know what the content is.
Yeah, she's asking about the content that you're giving with DoctorOn.
So basically, we are a device manufacturing, or not manufacturing, we're a device innovating company, and we're working on providing ophthalmic care. So for eyes, for those who can't currently afford it, because in developing countries especially, if you don't have your eyesight, there's a statistic that says that your lifespan will be a third of your fellow peer who is able to see. So that's what we're trying to fix. We're trying to give them the access to that ophthalmic care that they currently don't have using smartphones.
Mm-hmm. And why did you decide on eye care?
That's kind of an interesting story. So we were, as Vikram said, we've gone through many phases with DoctorOn, and so how we got onto eye care was originally we pitched a Skype kind of solution at the Innovate 100 competition, and then we moved past that, and we wanted to start in one aspect of medicine rather than just into the broad field of medicine. And after doing some research, we realized that there are a couple of fields that's very reliant on photography or photographs to do a diagnosis. Dermatology is one, and ophthalmology is another, and we decided to go with ophthalmology and just work from there and move out.
That's great. Any other questions for Nahush and Vikram? Yeah. One coming up right now.
Not to put you on the spot, because I know you're live and I'm sure your parents are watching, but what was the decision for you all? Because you kind of had something proven out and you decided to go to college anyway, and you guys kind of split up, but you're still working on it. You're still based in Columbia, but just kind of talk through that process.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm at Washington University in St. Louis, and Nahush is at Purdue. And we decided to make, we didn't really have a problem making the separation. Because nowadays we just communicate on Google Drive or Skype or something like that. So our productivity hasn't actually been decreased or anything. But in terms of our parents, actually, well, first of all, thanks a lot to them for keeping us on track throughout this entire thing. Both our parents, siblings even, thanks goes out to them. But I think that they were really supportive of us going into entrepreneurship in the first place. But they definitely emphasized that studies are important as well. So yeah. And
I know for me, at least, there was a point where I was kind of shaky on whether I wanted to, what I wanted to do after high school. Obviously I knew I wanted to go into college, but just if I wanted to take 6 months off or something, it was something that I was still I was thinking a lot about. And after talking with my parents, they really helped me realize that I did want to go get my education. And I found out that, of course, your parents always end up knowing best, because I'm sitting here in an engineering school, and I'm the things that we had trouble with when we were in high school, I'm learning how to do that. So it makes it a lot easier. Of course, that might not be the same scenario for everyone, but at least for me, I've realized that it's making things a little bit easier. Actually formally being taught how to do something. So.
Great. Well, before we close off here, parting words, Vikram and Nahush, that you would like to give these future entrepreneurs in the audience today. Vikram, let's start with you.
I guess it'd be keep your head up. If you have something on your mind, and go do it.
Mine, I guess, would be take every opportunity that's given to you, even if it's just for the experience. Go in thinking you're going to win it. Even if you don't, you're left with an amazing experience, and that's going to help you the next time you try something. So just go for every experience, opportunity that you're given. Reach out to the community also.
All right. Nahush Katti and Vikram Arun of DoctorOn LLC, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on your continued success.